Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 169. Now, as you know, this week I was away for most of the week. I arrived back late on Thursday. So I've had a couple of days of hobbying and I've tried to make the most of it, particularly because in a few hours from now I'm actually going to be leaving again all of next week, and so this is pretty much the only hobbying I'm going to get for 2 weeks. It's been good fun. I managed to get a fair bit of time with Rosie, which obviously is most important, but also pushed a couple of other projects on, like Smaug, like the Rivendell Knights, and like the bottom table Ardacon, so a lot of SBG. So yeah, it's been a really productive couple of days. There will not be a vlog next week. I'm not managing to take any hobbying with me this time. I've got plenty of other things I'm going to need to focus on over the next week. So this is going to be the first week in 169 weeks that I'll miss a vlog. I do feel quite sad about that because I really like those kind of records. But yeah, do not expect a vlog next week. If I do, it will just be me with my mobile phone and a very simple one. Potentially I have taken a couple of games, potentially talking about those. But yeah, there's not going to be any hobbying done in the next week, sadly. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Really hope that you do. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do reply to every single comment. I do. So don't be shy, do say hello. And I'll see you again at the end. Finally had the delivery of the Warhammer commemorative series Bayard's Revenge, which I ordered so long ago, and I've been to the UK 3 times and could have just picked it up in a shop. But I bought that just to paint, so I'll probably do that on camera. And to make up for the free shipping, Angela's very pleased about these. I bought a couple of dwarf ballistas. They are fine cast, but I'm not one of those people that really minds about fine cast. I can find it quite nice to work with. So that was quite a nice little order. Mostly that will go in the backlog, but I do want to do the do this cool model. It is such an awesome. I'm not into 40k at all, obviously, but it looks so cool. I thought I'd have a lot of fun painting it. So yeah, I just ordered that. So yeah, it took a long time to get here, months and months, but at least it's arrived. So I've been working on the second batch of eagles. I've assembled this one normally. So that went together really nicely. But what I've decided to do on this one is to just make it look a little bit different. So I've actually put the wings on the opposite side to which they're supposed to. Now what that's meaning I'm going to have to do is a little bit more filling because there's a bit of a gap that you can see. And also if I don't trim the this little tab here, then the filling gets quite a lot. But that is going to look absolutely wicked with the wings going down. It's going to look like it's coming in hard, which is what I want. So how I'm resolving that little bit of over gap is just trimming off. Let me just have a quick look where I need to trim it. Oh dear, just trimming off at the back on this one, I think. Just get my side snips and take a little bit of plastic off. Bing! God, that went a long way. And that now should fit in. There we are, that fits in nicely. Now I have noticed I've not actually cleaned up that from the sprue. And rather than the plastic glue, which I've used on everything so far, I'm using my super glue to glue these wings in, because it's just quite a bit more of a gap, and that will hold it nicely, and then I'll fill that with whatever I need to use to fill it. Probably the Mr. Putty. So yeah, just do a little bit of a clean up. As I say, there's a little bit of a sprue there. I thought I'd done that, so I think I must have just missed that one. And then what I'll do is I will go home on the super glue, build it up, then slot that in, and then leave that for a little while to go off, and then I'll come along with the filler. So yeah, having fun with these. These great eagles are being great to put together. And next up, I will get Radagast, because I'm thinking I might have him riding on this one that I've just done the slight conversion to. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I'll let that dry and bring you back when I come to the filling. I got these primed just with a black car primer. I'm happy enough with how they're looking. First thing that I'm going to do before I do in the next step is going to be to put some texture on the base around the bottom, so that then I can basically turn that into dirt. So I'm just going to use watered down PVA, paint that on like so. So we'll get that painted onto a section, and then once I've got some PVA, get my sand and just scatter it over like that, and that will give us some texture which will then turn into dirt, and we can put grass and what have you over the top. And after that I'll look at painting the actual steps. So I'll get that done on all of these. Say sand, I'll probably seal this with PVA, not with paint, and then I'll come and paint it to colour as I wish later on. So I'll just get all of the sand work done now, and I'll bring you back for the next step when I get to it. We're making really good progress putting this together, and it is a really nice kit. Much easier than the last one. That Canberra is much more annoying than this. But where I've got to on this now is the next instructions are putting the wheels on, which is cool. I've just assembled the engines, put the vertical stabiliser on. And yeah, really coming together. I mean, is there a prettier, nicer looking aeroplane than that? I would challenge you to suggest one. If you think there is, please feel free to tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. You're wrong if you don't agree with me. SR-71 is the most beautiful plane there is. So yeah, just going to let that to set now before I start working on the underneath. Like I say, I've only just put those vertical stabilisers on, and yeah, pretty pleased with how it's looking, and I'm now really looking forward to getting this painted and onto a base. But it's going to be a little bit of a delay because I'm about to go away again. So it'll be at least a week before I can touch this again properly. I might get to it tomorrow, we'll see. But yeah, happy with how it's looking so far. I have no idea if Rosie is going to be up for doing some hobby time this evening or not, but it's just come to the end of my work day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off these windows, because the next thing to do is going to be to paint the whole thing black. Sorry about that noise. And yeah, I will be using the house paint so that Rosie can join in, because spray paints are not something I want to really do with her. Doing that spray painting I did the other day wasn't ideal. So yeah, I'm just going to mask these off just so we don't get any black paint on our windows, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing black to give us a base to put colour on, and I'll let her pick the colour that she wants for the actual building, but we need to undercoat it all before we put the real colour on. So hopefully she'll be up for doing some hobbying when she gets home from school, which will be in the next 5 minutes, and then we can come up here and do a bit of painting. But I'll get all masked off, and then we'll see what she says. Right, so we have black paint, we have Rosie in her special painting top, so you don't get paint everywhere. Let's tuck that away. There we are. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint the sides, the back and the other side in black, and I don't think we're going to paint the top, but I might change my mind. So let's see if this paint is still good. If not, I might need to get a new pot of paint, actually, to be honest. That's a bit dried up. It's an old pot of paint. So let me just show you. Yeah, let me just show you what we're going to do. We're going to paint this on like this. Just paint it all over. So you take that, and I'm going to go up a ladder and get another pot of paint.
Like that?
Yep, then dip it in water, dip it in the paint pot. All the way to the bottom, and then paint. And I'll go get some more. Don't get it so wet. It doesn't need to be that wet, love. Don't put it back in the water after you've gone in the paint, because otherwise it'll be too wet and it'll run, look. Right, so you do that, and I'll get the other paint down. I need to go up a ladder, and we'll just get that painted. So we'll turn the microphones off and just play some music. Alright, so I've made some really good progress on the Rivendell Knights, and I'm now at the stage where I want to base each of these before I will mount the actual glue the riders on top. So I'm going to do the basing first, then glue the riders on top. Do that all now. and then they'll need to go downstairs for the final wash and highlight and what have you, and touch up any gaps that are present after I've glued the riders on. But I'm going to make use of Mediterranean soil base ready from Luke, and I might put some tufts and other greenery on as well after I've after this is all dried. But yeah, I show this quite a bit, but I'll just quickly show again how I go about applying this stuff, which is awesome. So you put it onto the base using the bottle applicator at first, and then get yourself a toothpick to shove it around, and that's the little trick that I use, which means that you get a good coverage and you're not getting the glue all over the horse, because you really don't want to get it all over the horse, otherwise the horse will get covered in your basing material, won't it? Sorry, I was out of shot then. Wasn't looking at the camera. Yeah, so you shove it around like this and get the base with a nice covering of glue, and then literally, if you look down the bottom corner, dunk the base in, shake it off, and there we are. It's as quick as that, and you've got yourself a really nice looking base. Oh, there we are, really nice looking base for your horse. So I'll go and do that for all of these, and also for the bannerman, which I've got here. I've also nearly finished. And then when that's done, I will bring you back and we'll glue the riders on. Actually, you know what? Let's do it now. So we'll glue the rider on top of that horse, and that's what I'm going to do for all of them. So I'm just going to grab myself some super glue, which I have here. And what I'll do is just put a little bit of glue along the top. If there's any super glue in this one, there is, good. I'm not going to put too much super glue on, and then that will then sit on like that. And there you can see we have one rider ready for washes tomorrow, and then they'll be done. So I'll get the rest of these done, and yeah, show you when they're finished. Very pleased. I've finished painting up Smaug and Smaug's base, as you can see, so now I'm going to have the fun of gluing him in place. So I'm just going to chuck some super glue in each of the footholds, like so. And then he's going to actually grab on just over here as well, I believe. And what we're going to do, I'm not sure whether I might need to press him down with a clamp. I think I will, because I think this tail is just slightly not right, and holding pushing his feet away from the base. There we are. That's a little bit better. So yeah, so I might need to either put a weight on there, or I need to move that super glue a bit because I put that a bit too far back. There we are. Might need to put some weight on there, or it might just be okay anyway. But yeah, there we are. That can be glued on like that. I'm very pleased with this. Very pleased with how it looks. There we are. I think I might get in there with a clamp on his foot there and just turn this round. Let's see if I can do this without trashing the joint. So if I slide this over here, I'm going to clamp in. Let's see if I can do this. And I've also got Bilbo just down here, still on his base, nicely painted though, so I can get him glued on also. So let's see if this will work. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get the clamp in there. No, probably not. Nope, can't get a clamp in. So how am I going to do this? No, not a chance. I might just have to kind of hold it for a bit. Right, I'm going to have to hold this down for a couple of minutes so that grabs. So it does grab quite quickly. And then when that's done, I'll bring you back and we'll put Bilbo in place. So yeah, let's see how well this works. Smaug is situated, and now here comes Bilbo. So I'm going to put a little blob of super glue just down in here, and then here he is. Perfect. There we are. So that now will have to be hidden, and will come out for Rosie's birthday in a couple of weeks. Really pleased. I missed the Christmas target, but really pleased that I managed to get that done for her birthday. So I'll hide that and give it to her on her birthday. But yeah, that's it's done. Awesome. Right, so here we are. And what we're going to do now is we're going to paint the inside, aren't we, love?
I just don't want to. I'm just gonna watch.
You're just going to watch? You're not going to paint? Okay, well, whether Rosie decides to paint or not, what we're going to do is going to paint the inside of this with light grey. And I'm not going to film it because it's going to be incredibly difficult to film. But that's what we're going to do. And hopefully Rosie will join in. But right now she says she won't, but we'll see. So we're back a bit later on. The reason why Rosie didn't want a hobby is because we'd washed her hands in this top, in her special painting jacket. And it was all wet, wasn't it, Roo? The sleeves were wet and you weren't very happy, so we've taken it down, hung it by the fire downstairs. Now we've come up a bit later and now Rosie is painting away, doing the floor of the garage. Are you enjoying yourself? Yeah, so I'm just going to let her get on with it because you can't really both work inside there. So she's just going to paint away and I'll do the walls because we've got the windows to worry about, but Rosie is painting the floor. So she's doing a very good job as she always does. So yeah, there we are. Well, there we are. Quite a lot done in only 2 days, and as you saw, quite a lot of time with Rosie. So I did mean to say this in the intro, but I forgot. Obviously, this is going to be the end of January, and instead of doing 20 minutes or a set amount of painting every day, which is just going to be impossible with all the travelling that's going on through this year, I decided to count how many miniatures I finished painting, which I've never done before, and is quite an interesting challenge, I think. And this is going to be the last week in January when I do any painting, because I'm not going to do any later today, certainly not next week, before the end of January. And I managed to do 52 miniatures, which is pretty incredible when you think about it, except when you realise, and let me just quickly have a look, I think that 40 of them or 48 of them were that one single day when I went a little bit crazy. However, it's 52 miniatures, I'm very pleased. One of them is Smaug, which is obviously not a small miniature, and I have not counted the Rivendell Knights in that number because they're not quite finished. I need to do a wash and I need to paint the rims, so they're not quite done, so they'll roll over into February. I'll do them when I come back, but yeah, very, very pleased with that, very pleased indeed. Anyway, that makes this outro quite long and rambly, so I'll stop chattering now. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do say hello. I will try my best to get something up for next Sunday. Having recorded the intro, I felt very sad about missing one. It's a record I'm very proud of. I know that it's not going to last this year, but it'd be nice for it to last just a little bit longer. So I will do my best to try and get something done hobby-wise next week. I'm not sure what, but otherwise, see you in a couple of weeks if I don't, and I'll close out by saying, as I always do, if any of you are impacted directly or indirectly by the horrible war in Ukraine, then my thoughts go out to you and to anyone that you might know who is in that situation. Such a horrible thing, can't believe it's nearly a year now. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.